Menzo.
Here.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Ortiz is absent. Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli.
Here.
Freeholder Voss.
Here.
Chairwoman Zur.
Here. Evidence of a quorum is present. Will everyone please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please read the minutes to be accepted?
July 26th, work session, all present. July 26th, public session, all present.
Can I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The minutes are passed. Can I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The meeting is now open to the public. We'll have a hearing of the general public with a 3-minute time limit in effect in accordance with the Bergen County Freeholder bylaws. The board attorney is going to keep the time, and when the time of the speaker expires, the timekeeper is going to announce that the time has expired. If you wish to speak, please fill out one of these papers with your name and your address and the general topic on which you wish to speak, so that we can make sure that everyone has an opportunity to be heard. That said, Norman Levy.
Thank you very much. My name is Norman Levy, resident of Englewood for 6 years, Tenafly for 45 years, and Fort Lee for 3 years. I am here to talk about pickleball again. I set up a pickleball program in my home in Arizona. I have set up the indoor program in Fort Lee Rec Center this winter. I run the pickleball program at the Tenafly Racket Club for the New Jersey Pickleball Association, and I'm one of the co-coordinators of the Bergen County Parks Pickleball Club. I have 2 things. I'll be very brief, and I can share with you. I'll share the summary of you. We did a summary of our members in the New Jersey Pickleball Association, which are the 2 biggest groups in Bergen County. And we did it by city in Bergen County. And there are 47 cities in Bergen County that are represented in our group. They represent 294 players. There are also 34 players from New Jersey outside of Bergen County, 122 players from New York State that come into Bergen County to play, for a grand total of 450 players. And neither of our organizations really markets to get new players because we just don't have facilities in which to play on. The other point I'd like to make is pickleball is not a fad. It's it's not like frisbee golf or these other sports. Pickleball is here to stay. It is growing tremendously across this country. And the big point I'd like to make is there are estimated to be 18 million tennis players in this country. And tennis players represents the biggest source of players for pickleball. As we get older, we can't get around the court like we used to, but pickleball is a wonderful, wonderful alternative. And tennis players pick it up in 10 minutes to play the game. So I just would like to encourage you. We're working with the Parks Department. They've been very helpful, and we are hopeful to get permanent pickleball courts for the residents of your county. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Levy. Iris Borman.
Iris Borman, presently of Cliffside Park for the past 3 years. Prior to that, 20 years in Edgewater, and 20 years before that in Fort Lee. Died in the little Bergen County person. Just to pick up on what Norman said, there are about 21 counties in New Jersey. 16 counties presently offer public pickleball courts, dedicated pickleball courts. I just would like to make a request. Yes, I believe that we will have certain dedicated pickleball courts, hopefully in the near future. We had submitted, Norman and I, a plan to the Parks Department, which we understand has been incorporated into, for consideration in the master plan. We would like the opportunity of presenting this plan to you as a group as soon as possible, because we believe that we can help you make Bergen County a singular destination point for pickleball in the entire Northeast. We've done a lot of work on this, and we would just like the opportunity of presenting it to you and fielding your questions and hopefully answering them in a satisfactory way. So that is my request of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Andrew Coyle?
No.
No? Okay. Mr. Coyle does not wish to speak. Melanie Gluck?
Hello, thank you. I am a resident of Teaneck, been there for 26 years, and I've just taken up pickleball, and I can tell you I absolutely love it. I'm not a sports-minded person at all. In fact, I can't stand tennis, I can't stand racquetball, I can't stand any of it. I have no patience, but when I get on this court, I come alive. And everybody who I play with sees that. So I also, I go to work, I'm not retired, and it's hard to play, when they have scheduled times. So it'll give me the opportunity to play outside, when I get home from work. Along with that, I just recently found out that the public schools, high schools, are offering pickleball to the people that they're teaching. So that's an up-and-coming sport, and I would seriously and hope that you would really consider this, because it is a growing sport for all ages. It's a healthy opportunity to get out there and meet people, play, stay healthy, and just, consider that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Judy Coyle?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for the question.
Freeholder Shelley?
Chairwoman, if I may, have you presented the presentation to the Parks Department yet?
Yes.
Okay, so to the director and, okay, because I was gonna make a recommendation, if it was all right with the chairwoman, that maybe that the Parks Committee and the Parks Director meet with them and have them present first to us, and then do whatever needs to be done before they actually come to a formal presentation.
Do we think timing-wise that should be before or after the master plan is completed?
Way before. Way before.
Well, if it's already,
The fact that it was submitted to them for consideration, I'm sure that Rutgers already has it. And I would think that from your presentation, the Parks Director probably relayed whatever information that was necessary for them to put it in. We're certainly hoping, as a board, we're certainly hoping to get that master plan sooner rather than later, towards the end of the summer, into the fall is when they're supposed to be presenting to us, so I'm hoping that'll be incorporated. But it's entirely up to the chairwoman if you rather do it by committee or if you rather have to present to the entire board, or you want to leave it up to the Parks Director.
let's inquire with the Parks Director as far as the status, and then we'll figure out what the best
Great.
option will be. Freeholder Boss?
Iris and I have known each other for many, many years, and I'm a big sports nut, as many people know, and I think this pickleball is very, very worthwhile, and, I would like to do everything I can to, support you guys, so, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll certainly, Freeholder Shelley was able to circle back with you as soon as we confer with the head of the Parks Department, and we'll figure out when is the best to do it. I think probably the right committee is the way that it should move forward.
Just feel confident that the Parks Director is working to try and make sure that everybody's needs are met.
I know it's.
So, okay, because he was bringing up things that I had no idea that were in consideration as far as what happens if the high school team comes on and the time that they're playing, so he's definitely hoping to make sure everybody's accommodated.
Thank you. Let's move forward with the other public comment. Jeff, I'm going to try and pronounce it. Smerchinsky, thank you very much.
Spell your name, please.
It's SMYRYCHYNSKI.
Okay. First name?
Jeff. I am a resident on Skyline Drive in Oakland, New Jersey. I lived there for 22 years before moving to Garfield and then moving back after my mother passed away. I have seen more accidents than I care to, including deaths of drivers due to the unsafe conditions of Skyline Drive. In the past 6 weeks, there have been 6 accidents. Currently, and that's at my house alone. The guardrail that's between my property and the road is now non-functioning. The next accident will go through that because the pillars that hold the guardrail up have separated from the guardrail from the number of consistent hits in the same exact location. When I grew up on Skyline Drive, there used to be a very large, probably 15 by 20 foot flashing sign to warn of this particular turn on Skyline Drive. It's the same road, it's the same turn that a tractor trailer driver overturned and killed people because of excessive speeds, and which the freeholders, I'm assuming, because it's a county road, have instilled a 10-ton limit on Skyline Drive, which happens to be ignored on a daily basis by trucks that decide that they're going to disobey the law and go over that hill in order to save 3 minutes from going around to the Ringwood side. I have thought of many different solutions to solving this problem, including putting up barricades to prevent vehicles that lose control coming down the hill from crossing over into the uphill bound lane, which is where all of the injuries happen, because the cars collide with the guardrail, and then the cars coming up the hill smash into them. And the most recent one, the victim broke her elbow. The person who came down the hill and lost control, nothing happened to him. But the victim who came up the hill ended up getting hurt. And it's like every week, every time it rains, that guardrail is hit in the exact same spot. And I believe that something has to be done before there's another death on that same exact turn. Thank you.
I have one question for you.
Sure.
Have you brought this to the attention of the Oakland local officials?
Of course, they're there every day to clean up the body parts. It's a county road.
No, I'm aware of that,
They're
but
not gonna
typically
do
what,
anything.
but what normally happens from the normal course is that the municipality requests the county to do some traffic study and to put, so the normal course is that the town council and mayor make the request of the county. We'll circle back with it no matter what, but that's why I asked the
Well,
question.
I've requested I've over-requested from the town the past 40 years of accidents, deaths, and injuries involved on Skyline Drive.
And have you put into writing a request for them to do
An
something
over-request.
to change it?
An
Not an
over-
over request, an actual written letter to the municipality requesting them to
No,
examine it.
all I know is that every police officer I speak to in town asks me to come forward to you and do
Okay.
something about this road.
Okay, thank you very much. Lauren Backus?
Or voters.
Okay.
Just to reiterate what Jeff said, I live on Skyline Drive.
Spell your last name.
B as in boy, O-R-C-H-E-R-S.
And your first name?
Laura.
Laura. Thank you.
Just to reiterate what he said too, it's, I'm an EMT and in Oakland and in Oakland, in Midland Park and Hurlikas. So I do hear the accident. As soon as I hear that, I run out. The last accident that occurred, I was taking care of the patient and another car was coming down that same hill and he skid and came directly for me. So I had to get out of the way. I'm there to help the person and I wind up almost getting hit. So if there's something that can be done, that would be.
Just to clarify, where on Skyline Drive is the biggest problem in your estimation?
It's
Between 90 and 106.
Okay.
When the driver comes down the hill and skids, he's actually forced into the other side of the road because of bank loan.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the reporter, it's hard to talk from that
Yes.
far away.
I know.
So that's, okay, so nice.
Okay, so that's basically what he said is, I know I don't want, I'm used to Globe too, and I don't want to Oprah all these records from years ago, to the Globe in Oakland. But if I have to, then, I'm going to have to, if you need to see it and prove that there have been many accidents, on that road.
That's not necessary. That's,
Okay.
that piece of it is not necessary. It's just normal course goes through the municipal government
Right.
to us. So we'll certainly inquire into it. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Chuck Powers?
Chuck Powers, Tina, speaking for myself tonight, and it's possible I want to borrow 1 minute either before, or it may take me 4 minutes to say what I want to say tonight. As I watched you function this afternoon and make your decisions about what turned out to be really $25 million or more of things that were coming into the county or going out in various very positive ways, struck me how robust the county really is at the moment. And how much you are dependent on federal and state funding for much of what you do. And less than 2 weeks ago, you made a huge decision about how to manage the BRMC. You folks are having enormous impact on jobs and care, the way in which recreation is carried out. Enormously important work. And only you actually see the data before you actually make the decisions. The rest of us can sort of look at it after the fact, but you have the responsibility for making those decisions. And I reflected also on some things that you said in your budget meetings last year. As you know, I saw most of them. And you began to pick up on something I really want you to focus on. Because the robustness of the current county in relationship to your dependence, particularly on discretionary funding from the federal government, is about, I think, potentially to come into major tension. I want to give you an anecdote to sort of say why I think I know about that. For 21 years, I was co-ran an organization that had the universities from 12 different states, the key departments and professional schools, all focused on how best to carry out defense nuclear waste. Before I left 2 years ago, we had put in place 4 major studies, which have turned out to be the most important studies that have ever been done on nuclear waste. And I just got through peer review one of them last week. Tonight, in Nashville, my successor management board is sitting trying to figure out whether or not there's going to be any funding for this enormously effective, coordinated organization of the talent of this country on a very complex issue. And they're waiting to figure out whether or not they're going to get any money from the federal government. I talked to the people in charge of fiscal aid, and they said, wait a minute, it's not just because Crest is in trouble. The fact is there has not been a single decision related to any of the important offices in the Department of Energy that have actually been made in the last 6 months. Things are not moving out of the federal government. And you, I think, are living on the experience of where things were when you applied and received those funds recently. You, I think, were right to start worrying about that in your budget meetings last year.
3 minutes.
And I'm simply suggesting to you that you begin to try to figure out what you do in a situation where the flow of federal dollars and the flow of federal dollars tied to state dollars, the way in which these things are so importantly interdependent, may really impact your decisions and all those people for whom you provide jobs and care and recreation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Powers. Paul Nichols?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I had a problem, as I said on social media and stuff. You know, when someone, and I'm going to say this first, I always promote 262 help and mental health, as you don't know. I don't need to repeat all that because you know it. But, you know, being a mental health client myself with, you know, diagnoses and stuff, I called 262, which is a state contracted agency to handle in this county the crises, and I feel I was treated wrongly. Now, the thing is I had a couple problems with it. Now, I always promote it, and it's a vital resource, and I would never want to scare anybody from using it. It's an important tool, but I'm not perfect. I'm not, when I called for someone 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it went really smooth. I called the police, and I said, they went out, then I called 262, they did the assessment of the person, and it went really smoothly. But yesterday morning, when I was bombarded with people questioning me about someone that was making suicidal tendencies online, I called 262, and if the situation was taken care of like a day before, which is similar to the one that I handled 2 or 3 weeks ago, if it was handled, why would they call me back a half an hour later and said, oh, we just want to confirm, do you want, I think that's, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but if I'm calling you for someone, you can act right then and there and take care of it. Now, as you know, I'm always thinking of everybody else too. So I'm hoping, now with all those people, and remember, I got a letter too saying, the fee for service thing. So I'm hoping that things can get straightened out before they really get bombarded with phone calls. And you know what I'm saying?
I actually do, and I'm happy to talk to you about it offline.
Right.
A little bit. I think that this situation was one where there was so much notoriety to the situation that
It was unfortunate,
that
yes.
there was
I know.
that was ripe for challenges. But I'm happy to circle back with you and talk to you about it offline.
I know, and thank you. And like I said, it's a very vital resource. And I'm glad that 262, 911, everything went off the hook with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a thing called the passerby effect.
Mm-hmm.
And I treat everybody equally. I would hope, and I know that you guys would, that if I have a mental health crisis, that someone wouldn't walk down the street and say, well, someone else hopefully called. You know? Okay, let me be quick, and I just want to say that I'm hoping, I emailed you about code blue, and I would like someone to follow up with that, with OEM. I believe now it's called S1088. Don't quote me on it, but Monarch said that, and hopefully that each county's OEM must abide by this when the temperature gets a certain way, a certain thing. I think that's what it is. I guess I'll talk to you about that too.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the general public who wishes to speak this evening? Seeing no one else, can I take a motion to close? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Meeting is closed to the general public. Will the clerk please read the resolutions that are on the consent agenda?
Resolution of consent are 7/12/17 through 7/39/17, 7/41/17 through 7/67/17.
Can I have a motion to accept the resolutions on the consent agenda as read by the clerk?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Omarosa.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Ortiz is absent. Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Chairwoman Zerk.
Yes.
That's 5 ayes.
Are there any resolutions of non-consent pulled, postponed, or tabled, and if so, will the clerk please read?
One resolution of non-consent, 7/40/17, a resolution authorizing a memorandum of agreement with the United Nations for the provision of the UN's SSAFE program by the county to UN employees. And that's from the Department of Public Safety Education.
Is there anyone who wishes to comment from the board? Freeholder Gans?
I'm going to abstain on this, owing to the fact that for the last 40 years, I have had a special services committee with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. This independent UN agency is a lifesaver the world over, and this is an incredible opportunity for the county. I congratulate the executive for negotiating this.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Roll call?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Freeholder Omarosa.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is abstaining. Freeholder Ortiz is absent. Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Chairwoman Zur.
Yes.
With 4 ayes, 1 abstention, and 2 absence, the resolution passes.
Thank you. We're now going to go on to our ordinances for first reading and introduction. We'll begin with ordinances 1725 and 26. Will the clerk please read 1725 by title only?
1725 is an ordinance amending and restating bond ordinance 1709, finally adopted on June 28, 2017.
Can I have a motion to introduce 1725 as read by the clerk?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Ortiz is absent. Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Chairwoman Zur.
Yes.
With 5 ayes and 2 abstentions,
2 absences.
sorry, 2 absences, 1725 does pass first reading.
Thank you. Will the clerk please read ordinance 1726 by title only?
1726 is an ordinance amending Section 3 of Bond Ordinance Number 1710, finally adopted on June 28, 2017, in order to revise the amounts referred to therein.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 1726 as read by the clerk?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Ortiz is absent. Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Chairwoman Zur.
Yes.
5 ayes, 2 absent, 1726 passes first reading.
We're now going to go on to our ordinance for second reading and adoption, ordinance 1724. Will the clerk please read ordinance 1724 by title only?
1724 is an ordinance regulating the use of cranes on county projects. The proof of publication of the ordinance notice of public hearing was published in accordance with the law and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of hearing and ordinance number 1724 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40A:2-17 on Friday, July 28, 2017.
May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public for hearing regarding ordinance 17-24?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The meeting is now open to the public for public hearing with a 5-minute time limit in effect. The board attorney is going to keep the time. Is there anyone from the general public that wishes to be heard regarding ordinance 17-24? May I have a motion to close the meeting to the public?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The meeting is closed to the general public. Is there any board discussion on ordinance 1724?
Chairman, I just want to point out that Freeholder Sullivan at our last meeting talked about this as another important sign of the county's commitment to the health and safety of its workers.
Freeholder Gans?
I just want to say that much of the work of this was done by Dan Schoenberg, who's an attorney with the council's office. It's an outstanding effort. May not be perfect, but this is a marvelous and overdue regulation.
Anyone else? I just want to also reiterate, it is a really comprehensive way of us making sure that we're going to provide for the safety of our workers and the safety of the general public when it comes to doing infrastructure work that is necessary within the county. So can I have now a motion to adopt ordinance 1724?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Ortiz is absent. Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Chairwoman Zur.
Yes.
5 ayes, 2 absent. 1724 is adopted and passes second read.
All right. It is now time for committee reports. I trust that we'll all be brief in summing up the work that we've been doing in our committees. Freeholder Gans, why don't you start us off?
Thank you. How I spent my summer vacation. I wanted to say that this was an unusual week with the opportunity to speak to a number of groups and a number of instances. in a number of different languages. Our sister city of Hapcheong province in Korea visited us. A number of the freeholders were present, and I had the opportunity to speak to them thank you. To speak to them in using a little bit of Korean that I know, and they were surprisingly knowledgeable about Port Joseph Jones, and they had a number of questions that ranged from technical ones, such as why did we have an Indian and a colonial person on our corporate seal, to why we used a name that was 300 years old. There were some questions that I found tough to answer, and I'm glad that my colleagues were there to help fill in. National Night Out took place earlier in the week and was a remarkable coming together of a number of different people and groups. Back in my day as mayor of Fairlawn, we used to do it in, we used to go to Fairlawn. We did 7 stops where the small groups gathered. It's now one giant group that comes together at over at the Memorial Field, and it's really quite a sight to see see everybody come together that way. I have a note here on the Bergen Wellness Program. I'm not going to talk about that today. Yes, I am.
Just spitting this out.
I was doing that. I want to suggest that the Bergen Wellness Program is live and well. Those of you who don't know what it is, it's a discount program that County Freeholders brought to you 10 years ago, and in that time it has saved consumers more than $8 million. There are 43,000 families that are using the discount card, and you can use it for diabetic supplies, you can use it for medicine, for pharmaceuticals for humans, you use it for pharmaceuticals that are human-based for pets. So Mimi the cat, who has had diabetes and has cured herself of it several times, showing that she's on her way towards 9 lives. This is it's a great program because there's no cost to it. You can look at it with the medicines up beforehand on your computer, and you can pick up to 5 municipalities and areas to check as to where the drugs and what they cost. This is a spectacular program that actually originates with the GF's POPS program back in, well, I'm here 15 years, so we did it about 12 years ago. And consumers have actually saved millions of dollars with this. And Mimi the cat, I'm sad to say, is now more or less in a terminal condition. So I probably won't be mentioning her other than one last time. But she's been a good cat.
God bless her.
And God bless her. All right, that's all.
Thank you. Freeholder Amoroso.
Well, my pets are relatively healthy. On July 28th, Freeholder Boss and I attended the final camp show for Camp Rainbow, the ARC summer camp at Ramapo College for kids ranging in age from first grade to adult. There was a lot of exuberant singing and dancing around the theme of theme songs from TV shows. And obviously Camp Rainbow just provides wonderful opportunities for socializing and development during the summer for all these kids. I think it's about 100 or something like that. At its Second thing, at its monthly meeting, Greater Bergen Community Action announced that Sean Connors, who is a detective in the Jersey City Police Department, would be the board's policy council representative for Head Start. And thirdly, yesterday, Freeholders Zura Ortiz and I attended the Women's Equality art exhibit in the lobby of One Bergen County Plaza. This event celebrates the 97th anniversary of women's right to vote. A lot has happened to advance women's rights since then, and a lot remains to be achieved. Thank you.
Freeholder Box.
I have to say that.
How were your pets?
They're good.
5 very healthy and happy cats who have not needed to use the wellness card. The Camp Rainbow show was just absolutely outstanding. I'm a very big advocate for young people or all people who have disabilities, and this was one of the most spectacular and inclusive shows, and we need to have more programs like this. And the counselors are outstanding, and I got a tear in my eye a couple of times because it was just such a wonderful show. Many of our towns had a night out on August the 1st, and my town, when this first started, it was just simply two people go outside on their front stoop and, turn the lights out and feel safe. Now it has turned into an extravaganza. In my town, over 5,000 people came to our park, and it was like a sardine can, but it was really nice because I want to encourage people, because many of the towns have concerts, movies. Get out, meet your neighbors, and really become part of the town. One last thing I want to mention. As a senior citizen myself, I'm very concerned with some of the scams that are being perpetrated on seniors. I cannot tell you how many people, and I have received this kind of call myself, this is the IRS, you owe thousands of dollars. Now I have to tell you, I am religious about paying my taxes. There is no way in the world the IRS. And I have to keep telling people, they don't call you on the telephone. That is absolutely ridiculous. And they go, the sheriff will come to arrest you immediately if you do not pay him. And call this number. Please don't be taken in by these scams. And it's not only the IRS scam, it is so many other scams telling you that a relative has been injured, please send $5,000, and things of this sort. When you get a phone call like this, report it, okay? Because many times people just either fall for it or just disregard it. It's really very serious, and especially for senior citizens. And on that note, I am becoming a fan of pickleball. So, thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Ross. Freeholder Kelly.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I'll try not to speak too quickly, but I wanted to cover some resolutions that we passed tonight. So tonight we passed Resolution 72817, hiring a specialized professional to help us navigate the camping and cleanup of Area 2 at Overbeck County Park. We have all had a number of organizations express concern about the wildlife in that area and having an ecological expert come in and advise us in the best interest of all concerned. I'd like to thank the county executive, the administrator, and our parks director for suggesting and taking this as serious as we do and bringing that professional in. Part of that contract is also the mitigation of the flooding that happens when we get those storms in that area. We also passed 2 resolutions concerning our Law and Public Safety Institute. Resolution 73817 is an upgrade to the Fire Safety Training Center. Bergen County is second to none when it comes to our fire training, and the needed upgrades will help in a number of areas, improving the instructor and student interaction. Something as simple as moving a control panel to be a remote allows the trainer to be closer to the training as it's taking place. 74017 is an agreement with the United Nations. We were educated, as I was today in our work session, in regards to that. We've been training a number of UN representatives for years in fire services, and thanks to the work by the administration, we've now enhanced that and grown that into a situation where we'll be training many more people in many other departments before they get deployed around the world. So it's a great opportunity to utilize that wonderful facility up in Mawa. We passed 739 to 744, more great work by the administration and shared services, where we're now teaming up with Englewood. Just to give you some, the other thing was 76417 is our open space awards. I'm sorry, Chairwoman. We passed a lot of the awards tonight in the resolution. Just to give you a quick idea of a few of the projects. Emerson Broadway Walking Trail, Leonia's Galleon Park Playground, Moonocky's Memorial Park, North Passage Park. All of these grants that get sent out from open space are all either to acquire land, improve historical sites, or upgrade municipal parks and common area that we all get to enjoy. And then lastly, just want to let everybody know, summer movies and concerts have been a huge success this year, even though weather has not been cooperating. We had a crowd of over 2,000 people at last Thursday's concert. Please visit the county website to see the last few movies and concerts that are available. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Freeholders. Now, that really quick. I wanted to, first of all, as many of my colleagues have touched on, National Night Out, I was in Teaneck and in New Milford, and it is a wonderful opportunity for communities to come together with law enforcement, with their elected officials, and with each other to celebrate what community is all about. And that is part of what as Freeholder Tonelli said, what we're trying to accomplish with what we're doing in our parks and what so many towns are trying to do with their summer concert series. So I joined the crew up here in imploring you to get out and enjoy. We tonight also passed Resolution 721, which talked about the funding to municipal alliances. This is state dollars, but it's going to have dramatic impacts in our communities. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank so many of the individuals who are working with municipal alliances to make sure that we're educating our young folks on drugs and narcotics, especially with the opioid epidemic that is really raging throughout our county. The work that is being done on the Municipal Alliance front is so very important. And so I just want to thank all of those who are involved and engaged in that way. We have a lot of work to still do, so I'm glad that we were able to fund this evening. We have our continued intern program that's going on here in the county. This week we toured the homeless shelter. We have the jail on tap for tomorrow. And so I put this out there as well, that if you have an interest in government and to see what government does firsthand, we look forward to your application to serve as interns going forward. And finally, I just want to congratulate and thank our new directors and division heads who were made, who we appointed in formal capacities this evening. We have had the pleasure of working with them in their previous capacities, and we know that they're going to continue to serve the county so well going forward, and we look forward to challenging them and pushing them along the path too. So thank you to the administration for making these bold moves and moving continuing to move the agendas forward. I know that they will be tremendous assets to our county. With that being said, can I take a motion to adjourn for the evening?
Yes.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Meeting stands adjourned for tonight.